Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for joining in for our Teachings of Pinti study session. Let's start with the prayer. Soma Jnanatimirandasya Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya, Radhikaya Tadalaye, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Pangum Langayate Girim, Yat Kripatamaham Vande, Shri Gurun Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram, Hari Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. So thank you for joining in, dear devotees. Now we are on chapter number 9 of Teachings of Kunti. We are continuing from where we left off last time, last Wednesday. So it's very interesting here that Prabhupada is mentioning that in his own life he's experienced Krishna's mercy when Krishna took away everything. Right? Prabhupada is giving the instance, Yasyaham anugruhnami harishye tad dhanam kshanaihi. Right? When Krishna especially favors a devotee, Krishna might choose to take away the opulence of the devotee, the resources of the devotee. And Prabhupada is now going to quote an instance from his own life where his pharmaceutical business went on losses. His wife traded his Bhagavad Gita for some biscuits, and then his wife was not supportive. So like that, everything was taken away from Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada took this so-called down situation of material life as an opportunity to write Srimad Bhagavatam, to take the Vanaprastha ashram, later on took the Sannyas ashram, and started writing Srimad Bhagavatam, which paved the way of Srila Prabhupada's going to the Western world. The celebration of 60th anniversary that we had in the last week. Srila Prabhupada's arrival at the US. So that could be possible only because Krishna put him in a situation which Prabhupada took as a mercy of Krishna, and he gave up the entire material endeavor of running a pharmaceutical business and everything as a desire of Lord. Took up Vanaprastha ashram, and then he went to Radha Damodar temple where he started writing Srimad Bhagavatam, and the rest we know is history. How Srila Prabhupada in a matter of 12 years circulated the globe 14 times, made millions and millions of devotees, and also constructed 108 Hare Krishna temples, International Center of Krishna Consciousness centers. So like this, because Srila Prabhupada took these adverse situations as an opportunity for him to practice devotional service, to follow the instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada could be successful. So here Prabhupada is drawing a parallel where Kunti Maharani is also praying the same thing. Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shibir, Edamana Madaha Puman. Right? All of these things of good birth, then Shruta Shribhir, right? Taking birth in a good family, then Aishwarya, a lot of opulences, a lot of beauty, etc. increases the madha, increases the false ego, right? So it is better if Krishna takes away everything, then one becomes akinchana gochara, one becomes completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. So devotees who would like to read can raise your hands. I have actual experience in this connection. I do not wish to narrate the whole story, but as a fact that I received Krishna's personal favor in this way. When I was 25 years old, my Guru Maharaj, my spiritual master, ordered me to go and preach. But I thought, first of all, I shall become a rich man, and then I shall use my money to finance the preaching work. I had good opportunities to become a very rich businessman. An astrologer even told me that I should have become as rich as the wealthiest man in India. There were very good chances. I was the manager of a chemical factory. I started my own factory and the business was very successful. But everything eventually collapsed. And in this way, I was forced into the position of carrying out the orders of my Guru Maharaj. When all my material assets were taken away, then I approached Krishna saying, you are my only shelter. Therefore, Krishna is akinchana vitta, the property of the materially impoverished. When one is bereft of all material opulences, then one turns to Krishna. And now I am realizing that I have not lost, but gained. Yeah, Sarvagopi Shri Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So to look material opulences for Krishna's sake is not a loss. Rather, it is a great gain, greatest gain. When one becomes akinchana, have nothing to possess, Krishna becomes one's only riches. Expressing this understanding, Narottama Dasa Thakura says, Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta, Vrishabhanu Sutta Sutta, Karuna Karaha E Bara, Narottama Dasa Kahe Na Teliya Rangam Aya, Tumi Vina Ke Ache Amara. Krishna, but for you, I have nothing to claim. I have no possession. You are my only possession. So please don't neglect me. The position is very nice. When one does not depend on anything material, but simply depends on Krishna, one has attained the first class position of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Krishna is addressed as Akinchana Vitta. When one becomes materially impoverished, you are the only wealth. Namo Akinchana Vittaya Nirvritta Gunavirtaye. When one takes you as the one's only possession, one immediately becomes free from the activities of the material nature. In other words, by accepting Krishna in this way, one attains the transcendental position of the Absolute, Atma Ramaya. At that time, one becomes happy with you, Krishna. You are happy with yourself, and one who surrenders to you becomes happy as you are. There is no difference between Krishna's body and Krishna himself. He is entirely self, entirely spirit. We, on the other hand, have a body that is different from ourselves. I am self, but I possess a material body. But when we actually becomes dependent on Krishna, who is completely self-satisfied, we can also be self-satisfied with Krishna. Kaivalya Pataye Navaha. The Mayavadi philosophers, the monists, want to become one with the Supreme. The Supreme is self-satisfied, and they also want to be self-satisfied by becoming one with the Supreme. Our philosophy of Krishna consciousness is the same, but instead of becoming one with Krishna, we depend on Krishna. That is actual oneness. If we simply agree to abide by the orders of Krishna and have no disagreement with him, we are situated in actual oneness.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, even in Ishopanishad, Prabhupada actually explains in the purport that what does oneness mean? Oneness, like Prabhupada says here, oneness does not mean to merge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oneness represents oneness in interest. Oneness and interest with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oneness and interest means, that means what is Krishna's instruction? Krishna is saying Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So if I also have that same interest of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ekam Sharanam Vraja, exclusive surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then I have the same interest as Krishna. Krishna is saying surrender to him, and I am saying surrender to Krishna. So is there a common interest between both of us? Yes. So that is oneness in interest, and not to become one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We don't want to merge into the Brahman, because we know that is only the realization of the Sat aspect. So we want the Chit as well as the Ananda. More importantly, we want the Ananda aspect, which can only be obtained by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narottama Das Thakur, very beautifully in this song, he says, Ha ha Prabhu Nanda Sutta, Vrishabhanu Sutta Juta, Karuna Karo E Bharo. Please be merciful unto me without the compassion of the Lord. Right? There is also one beautiful song I heard recently. Krishna Kripa hai tabhi, Krishna ka naam le sakenge. Krishna ka naam le sako, to yehi Krishna Kripa hai. That means only if Krishna Kripa is there, only if mercy of Krishna is there, we can take the holy names of Krishna. If we are able to chant Hare Krishna very nicely, that means we should know that we've already realized the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. Like in the morning, Brahma Muhurta also discussing what is real blessing. Real blessing means to understand and follow the instructions of our gurus. And when we are able to chant Hare Krishna, following the instructions of our gurus, we are already blessed. Right? Narottama dasa kohe, na teli horanga pae, toma vina kaya che amara. Amara Hari Hari Bifale Janam Gunainu. Right? Narottama Das Thakur is singing, Tumi Vina Ke Ache Amara. I don't have any possession other than you, Krishna. Right? So Krishna, you are mine. and I am yours. Right? Use me, make me dance as you like Prabhupada sang in that Jaladuta. He sang in the Markane Bhagavat, right? Make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. I am a puppet in your hands. So Krishna, what is that? Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache. Right? The Vaishnavas sing, Krishna se tomara. So Krishna belongs to the Vaishnavas. Right? And Krishna can be given only by the Vaishnavas. Tomara shakati ache. Right? The power of the Vaishnava is that the Vaishnava can give us Krishna. So we should be very, very careful in our dealings with the Vaishnavas, because the Vaishnavas only can give us Krishna. Namo akinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye. That it's for someone who thinks my only possession is Krishna and my only association is that of those devotees who are devotees of who are disciples or devotees of Lord Krishna. Then in that only we identify as our possession. We don't identify this laptop, this desk, this mobile, etc. as my possession, because all these possessions will only entangle us in this material world. Whereas the real possession is something that will give us real bliss. And what is that real possession? The real possession is to understand that Krishna is mine and I am Krishna's and I want to be engaged in the service of Krishna. That is real oneness in interest with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not merely to merge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is called spiritual suicide, Prabhupada says. Right? To want to merge with the Lord is spiritual suicide, because we are making ourselves lose the chance of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is real Ananda. Okay, Shamapriya Mataji, go ahead. Did you read now?
No, Mataji, I did not.
You read, right? No.
No, Mataji. Sarvagopeshwari Mataji read.
Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji pranams. The Mayavadi philosophers think, why shall I keep my individual separate existence? I shall merge into the Supreme. But that is not possible. From the very beginning, we are separated parts of Krishna. Krishna therefore says in Bhagavad Gita, my dear Arjun, you should know that you, I, and all persons assembled on this battlefield were individuals in the past. We are all individuals in the present, and in future we shall continue to remain individuals. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanonam. Krishna is supreme Nitya and supreme living force among the innumerable living forces. We living entities, Jiva, are innumerable, Ananta. There is no counting how many we are. Similarly, Krishna is also a living entity, but he is a chief, supreme living entity. That is the difference. One leader may have many followers. Similarly, Krishna, the supreme living entity, is the supreme leader, and we are subordinate, dependent living entities. That we are dependent is not very difficult to understand. If Krishna does not supply us food, we shall starve, because independently we cannot produce anything. Eko Bahinam Yo Vidati Kamam. Krishna is maintaining everything and we are being maintained. Therefore, Krishna is a real predominator and we shall be willing to be predominated. That is our natural constitutional position. If we falsely want to become predominators in this material world, we are in illusion. We must give up this illusion and always try to be predominated by Krishna. Then our life will be successful. Correction. Thank you.
So this is real life's blessing. The real life's blessing is to follow those instructions that enable us to reawaken our love for the Supreme Lord, because that is the blessing which is eternal. Everything else is illusion. Right? Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai Andakar, Jahan Krishna, Taha nahi hai Maya Adhikar. Right? If we are, Prabhupada tells in that lecture, that if we are in front of the Lord, we cannot be subject to darkness, because Krishna is like Surya. Whereas if we turn our back towards Krishna, then we have to be in touch with another energy of the Lord, which is the indirect energy of the Lord, which is Maya Devi. Right? There we get frustrated by our attempts to enjoy. Whereas when we understand real enjoyment, real benediction, real blessing, real ananda is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead and to have Lord Sri Krishna as our only possession. Right? My only possession is my devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna, my glorification of Lord Sri Krishna, my hearing about the Lord Sri Krishna. So if Krishna is the only object of possession, then such a person is said to be akinchana gochara. It does not have any possession other than that of Lord Sri Krishna and his devotees, right? Bhakti, Bhagavan and Bhakta cannot be separated. They're always together as one unit. Okay, let's go to the next chapter, the touch of superior energy. Chapter number 11. Manye tvam kalameshanam anadi nidanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra Bhutanam yanmitah kalihi. Sudha Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Manye tvam kalameshanam anadhi nidanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmita kalihi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In disturbing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.28. Kunti Devi knew that purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kunti Devi knew that Krishna was neither her nephew nor an ordinary family member of her paternal house. She knew perfectly well that Krishna is the primeval Lord who lives in everyone's heart as a super soul Paramatma. Another name of the Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala or eternal time. Kala or eternal time. Yeah, eternal time is a witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by him. It is no use saying that we do not know why we are suffering. We may forget the misdeed for which we may suffer at this present moment, but we must remember that Paramatma is our constant companion and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. And because the Paramatma feature of the Lord Krishna destines all actions and reactions, he is the supreme controller also. Without his sanction, not a blade of grass can move. The living beings are given as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse their freedom, and therefore they are the good sons of the Lord. Others who misuse freedom are put into miseries destined by the eternal Kala. The Kala offers the conditioned souls both happiness and miseries. It is all predestined by eternal time. As we have miseries uncalled for, so we may have happiness also without being asked, for they are all predestined by Kala. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the result of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. Everyone here wants to lord it over the material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He is all pervading and therefore he can see everyone's activities. And because the Lord has no beginning or end, he is known also as the eternal time Kala.
Thank you, Mataji.
What is explained? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham, right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu means death I am. I come in the form of death. For those who have not practiced devotional service, I come in the form of death. And death comes in course of time, right? Krishna, even in the Mahabharata serial that we may watch when we were young, right? Aham Kalosmi, right? Where that, there is this, there is this rotation of this earth. Wherein there's a voice that comes, right? Saying that I am time, I am eternal time. So in that, Krishna also tells so many times in Bhagavad Gita also, right? Aham kalosmi, right? I come as eternal time and I destroy everything, right? Time cures everything. Everything is destroyed by the influence of time, right? But Prabhupada explains that the spiritual world is conspicuous by its absence now of time. There is no time in the spiritual world because everybody is engaged in the service of the Lord. There is no constraint of time that you have to complete this by this particular time. Everybody is performing service to the Lord according to their heart's longing and their heart's desire to serve the Supreme Lord. The time is unlimited. Time expands itself. There is no time. There is no time constraint. So like that here, Krishna comes as death, which is also a consequence of time, right? After a particular period in time, whenever expiry date is written, right? Every product, like we have, when we buy rava, sugar, etc., it all says manufacturing date so and so, expiry date so and so. We all know our manufacture date, our birth date, but we don't know our expiry date, right? But we are also meant to be utilized in the service of the Lord. And by the time that the expiry date comes, we want to perfect our life by becoming akinchana gochara, by wanting to only serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? We should understand that I have no identity other than Jivera Swarupaye Krishnera Nityadas, right? That's what Prabhupada explains in a lecture, how if somebody causes us a trouble, it is instead of developing a revengeful attitude, oh, you caused this trouble to me, let me get even with you, right? Instead of causing back some trouble and creating those impressions in our mind, what does an intelligent person do? An intelligent person understands that this person is only a is only as an instrument who is giving me the suffering that I am due to suffer. Right? Prabhupada gives example of a person who gives a telegram. Right? The telegram has got a very bad news. Right? Do we beat up the telegram? The person who brought the telegram? No. He's just an instrument. He's brought the news, the bad news, right? So he is in no way involved in that particular news, right? It is only that he happened to deliver it on that particular day. So similarly, whatever suffering or whatever misery we undergo, whoever may cause it, whoever may seem to be causing it, as the immediate cause, right? That we are anyway supposed to get. And so instead of blaming the person who is causing it to us, we should understand that this is ordained for me as per my past karma. This is ordained to me as per my past activities and as per my past desires. So by responding to the situation in a mature way, in a Krishna conscious way, we will pave ourselves for a higher and better destination. Otherwise, we'll be rotating in the same cycle of birth and death. We'll get more reactions, more reactions, more reactions. We take revenge, we get more reactions. So in this way, we are circling around in the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. But we have this free will. We have this free will means the ability to choose our responses, basis which we can get out of this entanglement of birth and death and disease and old age. So that response is a Krishna conscious response, understanding that everything is happening for a reason and with the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Okay, and for my purification. Okay, Kripa Mai Sita Mataji, go ahead. What is explained here by the devoted Kunti? Mataji, unmute Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji Dandatna. What is explained here by the devoted Kunti is exactly confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 9.26. There the Lord says, Samoham sarva bhudeshu name deveshu sti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayeti su chapi aham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but one who renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend through him. God cannot be partial. Everyone is God's sons. So how can God favor one son above another? That is not possible. But human beings discriminate. We write, in God we trust. But one who trusts in God must be equally kind and merciful toward all living entities. That is God consciousness. Krishna says, I have no enemies, nor I have friends. Nami dvesho stina priyaha. The word dvesha means enemy. We are envious of our enemies and friendly towards our friends. But because Krishna is absolute, even when he appears to be inimical toward some demon, he is actually a friend. When Krishna kills a demon, the demonic activities are killed, and he immediately becomes a saint and merges into the supreme impersonal effulgence, the Brahma Jyotir. The Brahma Jyotir is one of the three features of the absolute truth. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam vaj jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmedi paramatmedi Bhavanti Sapti. Bhagavatam 1.2.11. 1.2.11. Absolute truth is one, but is perceived in three features, known as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhavan. The original complete feature of the absolute truth is Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead, and his planetary representation is Paramatma. Shiro Daksha Sai Vishnu, who is situated in everyone's heart, Ishvara Sarva Bhutan Kirti Desi Juna Siddhat Stadi. The third feature of the absolute truth is Brahman and the all-pervading impersonal effulgence of the absolute. The absolute truth is equal to everyone, but one will realize the absolute according to the way one approaches him. Eta mam Prabhayante. According to one's capacity for understanding, the absolute truth is revealed either in the impersonal Brahman as the localized Paramatma or ultimately as Bhagavan. To explain this by example, we may sometimes see hills from our rooms, although we may not see them distinctly. In Los Angeles, there are many hills, but when we see the hills from a distant place, they look like something cloudy. However, if we go further towards the hill, we shall find that there is something distinct, a hill. And if we go all the way to the hill itself, we shall find many people working there, many houses, streets, cars, and so many very varied things. And similarly, when one wants to know the absolute truth, when one wants to do the
Once
absolute
tiny brain.
truth, by, by once the tiny brain and things, I shall conduct research to find the absolute truth. One will have a vague impersonal idea. Then if one goes further and becomes a meditator, one will find that God is situated within one's heart. Mataji? Dhyan,
Haribol.
Dayan avistita tat gatina manasa pasyanti mam yogis. Real yogis see the form of Vishnu within the heart of meditation. The devotees, however, meet the devotees, however, meet the Supreme Person face to face, just as we meet face to face and speak face to face. The Supreme Personality of Godhead orders, supply me this, and the devotee directly serves the Lord by supplying what he wants. Thus, there is different realizations of absolute truth, and although he is equal to everyone, it is up to us to understand him according to our advancement. Therefore, Kunti says, samam charanatam sabvetra. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The word thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother. Dandatna.
Hare Krishna. Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvesho sinapriya na me dvesha. I am not envious of anybody. I am not an enemy of anybody. Stinapriya. But Krishna is also saying nobody is dear to me also. I neither envy anyone nor is anybody an enemy to me, nor am I dear to anyone, or nor is anyone dear to me. But again Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. Again there is a verse which is quoted here. What is that? Ye dhamam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamyam. As you reward, I shall reward accordingly. As you surrender, I shall reward accordingly. So different contradictory verses are there, but we should understand that Krishna is equal. The other day also we were discussing this, right? How the rainwater falls equal in a desert land also, as well as in a fertile land also. In a fertile land, immediately plants and trees start coming out. In a desert land, the same rainwater is falling. But because the soil is not fertile, no plant or tree is coming out of that. Similarly, if our heart, which is like the soil, if it is fertile, that means if we have made our heart properly conducive for the growth of Krishna consciousness, then our Krishna consciousness creeper will grow with hearing, chanting, serving, devotional service, observing Ekadashi Vrata, etc. It will start growing very nicely. But if we make our heart as stone, which is not at all fertile, then irrespective of anything, we will not be. Of course, we will get the benefit of chanting, hearing, etc. But the ultimate benefit of the Bhakti Leta Bija growing very nicely, crossing over the Mahatattva and reaching the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna may take a lot of time. Samam charantam sarvatra. Samam means equal, right? Charantam means moving. That means the Lord is inside also and the Lord is outside also. So the Lord is ever existing and present everywhere. And that is why the Lord is also in our heart as Paramatma. So the Lord is equal to all of us. However, it depends on our heart's condition to receive the mercy of the Lord, to perceive the presence of the Lord. The Lord is there in everyone's heart, but how we cultivate our heart, how we cultivate the devotion in our heart determines how much of a realization we have about the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the three levels that we discussed, right? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Knowing well, the highest realization is that of Bhagavan. That means to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has the same features as a human being, but he is that unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishwaraha Parama Krishna, and he is Sachit Ananda Vigraha in unlimited, infinite quantities, like that. Okay, Deval Mataji. Okay, let's continue from here. The word Charantam means from there.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. The word charantam means moving. The Lord moves everywhere, within and without. And we simply have to make our vision clear so that we may see Him. By devotional service, we can purify our senses so that we may perceive the presence of God. Those who are less intelligent simply try to find God within, but those who are advanced in intelligence can see the Lord both within and without. The yogic system of meditation is actually meant for those who are less intelligent. One who practices meditation in yoga must control the senses. Yoga Indriya Samyamaha. Our senses are very restless, and by practicing the different asanas or sitting postures, one must control the mind and senses so that one can concentrate upon the form of Vishnu within the heart. This is the yoga system recommended for those who are too much absorbed in the bodily concept of life. However, because bhaktas, devotees, are more advanced, they do not need to undergo a separate process to control their senses. Rather, by engaging in devotional service, they are already controlling their senses. For example, if one is engaged in worshipping the deity, cleansing the temple, decorating the deity, cooking for the deity, and so on, one's senses are already engaged in the service of the absolute truth. So, where is the chance of their being diverted? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Bhakti. Devotional service simply means engaging our senses. Rishika, in the service of the master of the senses. Rishikesha. Now our senses are engaged in sense gratification. I'm thinking that because I am this body, I must satisfy my senses. In fact, however, this is a contaminated stage of life. When one comes to the understanding that he is not this body but a spiritual soul, part and parcel of God, he knows that his spiritual senses should be engaged in the service of the supreme spiritual being. Thus one attains liberation, mukti. One attains liberation when one gives up the false idea that the body is a self, and when one resumes his actual position of service to the Lord. Muktir hitvanayatha rupam sarva rupena vyavasthitihi. Bhagavatam 2.10.6. When we are conditioned, we give up our original constitutional position, which is described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being that of eternal service to Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nityadasa. But as soon as we employ ourselves in the service of the Lord, we are liberated immediately. There is no need to pass through some preliminary processes. This very act of engaging one's senses in the service of the Lord is evidence that one is liberated. This liberation is open for everyone. Samam Charantam. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not say to Arjuna, only you may come to me and become liberated. No, the Lord is available for everyone. When he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, give up all your other duties and surrender unto me, he is speaking not only to Arjuna but to everyone. Arjuna was the original target, but in fact, Bhagavad Gita was spoken for everyone, for all human beings, and therefore one must take advantage of it. Krishna's impartiality is compared to that of the sun. The sun does not consider, here is a poor man, here is a low class man, and here is a hog. I shall not distribute my sunshine to them. No, the sun is equal towards all, and one simply has to take advantage of it. The sunshine is available, but if we close our doors and want to keep ourselves in darkness, that is our decision. Similarly, Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is for everyone, and Krishna is ready to accept us as soon as we surrender. Samam Charantam. There is no restriction. People may make a distinction between lower class and higher class, but Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapashrityaha ye pisyu papayonayaha. Bhagavad Gita 9.32. Even though one may supposedly be of a lower class, that doesn't matter. If he surrenders to me, he is also eligible to come back home, back to Godhead. That
Thank you,
same
Mataji.
Krishna is... Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
So the only qualification is to develop that laulyam, to want to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, to develop the laulyam to always want to serve Lord Sri Krishna, right? Mami partha vipashritya episyu papa yoneha. Even if somebody is papa yoneha, even if somebody has committed sins, right? There's this very famous verse. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobam helanameva va Vaikuntanam Agrahanam Ashesha Agaharam Viduhu. Ashesha Aga, the Agasura. He was such a big mountain, like a cave like a demon, right? And immediately Krishna went into his abdomen and he broke through and came out. So Agasura, that Ashesha Aga Haram Viduhu. Haram means destroyed. Krishna can destroy the sins of our all of the so many lifetimes that we passed, so many sins that we've accumulated, so many anarthas that we've accumulated, right? Ashesha aga haram viduhu. All of them will be destroyed. How? Sanketyam parihasyam va. Some or the other we chant the holy names of Krishna, either indirectly or jokingly or by calling someone else. Like Rajamil called Narayan, but he was actually referring to his son, and yet he got a second chance to go back home, back to Godhead, right? So, even if someone is a very, very sinful person, Papa Yonayaha, even then, it does not matter. Simply, if one calls to Lord Sri Krishna, even in a joking way, even indirectly, even as a stobam. Stobam means like a professional recitation also. Like some people sing the Sanskrit shlokas on the stage for a competition or for showing off their talent, that I know all the words of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so but yet they are taking the names of Lord Sri Krishna, right? Helana mevava, right? Or indirectly, or in a professional way, or in a teasing way, or in a humorous way. Whatever way we chant the names of Krishna, it is going to be purifying, and it will enable us to go back home, back to Godhead. So if this is the benefit of chanting even Sanketyam, Parihasyam, Stobam, Helanam, then what is the benefit for someone who's chanting Hare Krishna with the only desire to go back home, back to Godhead? Such a person will be attaining the highest stage of eternal service of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai. Grantraj, teachings of King Kunti ki jai. So we'll continue. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so we'll continue this tomorrow. We'll do Harinam Sankirtan now. I request devotees to turn your cameras. We'll do Harinam Sankirtan and in about 3-4 minutes that we have. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Asatyadishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jai Jai Jagannath Jai Baladev Jaya Jai Subhadra Jaya Jai Sudarshan Jai Bala Gopal Jai Rukmini Vitthal Jaya Prahlad Narsingha Jaya Lakshmi Narsingha Jai Prahlad Narsingha Jai Shadgo Swami Jaya Guru Parampara Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol ग्रंथराज लक्ष्मी बिन कुंती की जय कलियुग वदंत भावना हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल पांचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू devotees. We'll meet tomorrow morning 4:30 a.m. for Brahma Muhurta chanting, and then at 11 o'clock or 11:30, Krishna willing, we'll meet for continuing the teachings of King Kunti. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.